Hey everybody, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're going to be looking at a Zerg vs. Terran game. Up here in the top left of Invader, we have Kola. He is a pro Zerg from the old days. He was on CJ Entis. Not super well known, but he is quite active right now on the ladder. Here he's going to be going up against Mind, who, well, this is the real reason for watching this replay for me personally. One of my favorite Terrans ever. I think as far as intelligence goes, he might be the smartest Terran player out there. Well, other than Flash, I guess, right? Like, this guy wins his games generally off of decision making. He'll do things like skip timings and hit things that look like anti-timings because he sees windows open up. So definitely one of my absolute favorite players to watch. He had some great runs, in a great run in ASL somewhat recently. And yeah, just a player that whenever I see something that looks like it might be a good quality game out of him, it's something that I want to watch. So guys, thank you very much for tuning into ArtosisCasts. Yeah, I hope that you're enjoying the games and the variety. Hope to have some different stuff coming up pretty soon here as well. And yeah, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. If you did want to support on Patreon, there is a Patreon, patreon.com/Artosis. That's down in the description below. And a big thank you to everyone who has supported there so far. You guys are fantastic. I have been able to fund some extra matches and things. We were a partial sponsor of Caster Muse League that I was casting and all that. So thank you much to everyone. Really appreciate it. Anyways, taking a look at this game. Mind here is going for a wall. This is a pretty darn good wall on this map. Like, you do have this hole here, but you just kind of clog it with Marines or an SCV if you think your opponent's getting really aggressive. But it's not what's happening here anyways. Kola is going for a regular 2-hatch opener. The SCV scout going to come up and be able to see that that is exactly what's going on here. And, of course, the second depot being made. This area is all completely tight. I don't know if a Zergling can fit through between this egg and this depot. It really looks like they can, but sometimes that can be a little bit deceiving. Now, the drone came all the way in. That was just to check the gas. It's something that you definitely need to do as Zerg. If you do not check the gas, like, let's say that he skipped that and just was like, oh, you're just walling and going to expand. Well, if you don't see the command center on time, and you send your drone home and you didn't see if there's gas, a vulture might just come and kill you, which absolutely can happen. Now, that's a very quick layer. You can see Mind was sitting there watching, waiting for it. That was like a 251 layer. And that does make a bit of a difference. You have to see when that layer is to give yourself an idea of when to start your missile turrets, right? Like, this is the difference. It doesn't, like, maybe looking at it, it doesn't feel like it's that big of a difference. I feel like when many years ago, I would look at that and be like, yeah, I don't know, it's like about a 3-minute layer, but it's like, okay, well, the difference between 3 minutes and 4 seconds, which is generally the latest layer you'll see at the pro level, and 2 minutes and 51 seconds, it's pretty significant, right? Like, that is... The Muta's getting to your base 13 seconds quicker is no joke. That's almost turret build time. So if you start it late, like, you can literally just lose the game because of that. It definitely is something that can occur. If you don't have those turrets up, you start to take a bunch of damage. It starts to get out of control. Anyways, taking a look, it seems as if the Zerglings, a little tiny bit of a scuffle. He loses a couple Marines, whatever. But Mind is going for a quick +1 here. And getting his academy up as he should. Probably wants to go for 4 barracks play. When you go for that quick +1, that's generally what you're going for against 2-hatch. You get 4 barracks out and really produce a lot of Marines and medics and try to keep some pressure on your opponent. I would assume that Kola is thinking about getting this base here as his third. So that is probably where we're going to see Mind trying to pressure. But sometimes I do see Zergs take this bottom left base. I've seen this taken as a third maybe a few times, but this one's so wide open, I don't think this one's a good idea. That's almost like a weird, almost sneaky-ish base because it just doesn't make sense. There's so much surface area. Like, you can't make any sort of SimCity or choke to deal with incoming Marine medic armies. So here are a couple more racks on the way. We'll see if he does add that 4th one. And he is sending the drone to that bottom left base. I mean, this is very easily defendable. You know, even just like one sunk in here, this is very thin for Marines to get through. And with the help of mutas, very hard to break. Now there is the 4 barracks, +1 about halfway done, and range already started. So a very well optimized build here, but he needs to get his turrets started very, very soon. As you can see, the mutas are already in production, and you need to basically start your turrets by the time that the mutas are hatching. So we just heard a scan, and he sees that the eggs are still there. So there's no need to panic, but he should start the turrets now, because you don't know exactly when they're going to pop, like the exact second. You know, like the earliest, but yeah, he starts these turrets now, and yeah, well-placed turrets. Definitely needs to make sure he has some in each area, and that's exactly what he's going for. And the thing is, you don't need to build them all at once. What you want is the closest point you start the turrets on, and you can see he's done that, and then you just kind of work your way back, and then you add turrets on, because you know the first swipe of mutas is going to be much less than, you know, how many mutas are coming in the second time, the third time, maybe the fourth time. And you got to build up that turret count to what you actually want. Like, one turret won't do anything against 7-8 mutas, but against 3-4 mutas, absolutely. But anyways, a big part of what you're trying to do here as Mind is utilize your large Marine medic count, your +1 attack, your quick range upgrade to get out on the map and force the mutas to come play with your Marines, right? The mutas kind of have to go and dog those. You can see, by the way, see, as he gets up to the 7 mutas, he's like, all right, we'll take down the turret. You know, if this is too lightly defended, I can get in here and start doing some damage. And pretty good micros so far. He has taken some damage there, but, you know, the Marine medic force not able to move out very far as of yet. You know, realistically, what you want is at least 20 Marines to start moving across the map. We can see that Mind is just below that right now. He has about 16 Marines total, and here just about 12. It's just a full group here, right? So he's trying. Okay, and that's a good scan, because he knows that the mutas are over that, and he knows that there's probably an overlord there too. If he can get the overlord, that's a good kill, but unfortunately unable to do so. Kola pulls it back, brings his mutalisk force forward a little bit, and actually brings a couple lings in. This is really annoying. That ling damage on the turret is not nothing. Look at how quickly they're chunking it down. He might actually be able to kill that with the lings. Yeah, look at that. So low at the moment. And the muta's dealing with those Marines and medics really, really well. Doesn't end up getting this turret, but, you know, it opened up an opportunity that wasn't taken, and that's completely fine. Taking a look at the base of Kola here, you can see his +1 is almost done. And no other tech structures. He's got this third gas mining. He's just focusing really, really heavily on mutalisks right now. The factory finishes up here for Mind. He's going to start a starport, and in fact, he's probably going to want 2. And realistically, maybe he wants to go into. I think we might have actually just seen him target this egg. By the way, that's a really cool move where you can make the glaives bounce off of something that is not a Marine, so you're at further range, hitting the Marine still. But yeah, he might want an armory. We'll see. Yeah, there's the armory. Armory goes down. Not a big surprise, because this is such heavy mutalist production. But Kola, you know, he did get a Hydralis Den. He's getting his Queen's Nest right now. And we'll see exactly how many lurkers that he can get out. You know, it's very trendy to try to get a lurker contain on Terran after going very hard mutas for a bit. And that's like generally a victory if that occurs. Now, Kola comes in, gets a few swipes, loses 1 muta, but he's actually doing such a good job reducing this. Oh my God. Look at the amount of Marines he's killing. Yeah, he is losing some of these mutalisks, but honestly, like, he has got so many mutas. He just refills the group. You can see keeping that full group, keeping the Marine medic count down. And this, I got to tell you, like, Kola's putting out an excellent, excellent game right now. And you can see he is utilizing that egg for its glaive bouncing abilities onto that bio if it's close by. A really great way to get extra free damage in there. Now, the double starport is done. Science facility gets started, because, like, you're going to want a couple Valkyries, but that's probably it. 2 Valkyries will be enough with these Marines and medics to push the mutas back, but you need to get into science vessels from there, because he knows that there's going to be lurkers. Now, what do we have as far as lurker production? I don't believe we have any. The Hydras are just now popping out. He did make a few more mutas, continuing to try to reduce this Marine medic count. And, ooh, very good engage here from Mind. Definitely a little bit of a mess up there from Kola. Loses 3 mutalisks, not killing nearly as much that time. So the 2 Valkyries flying out with this Bioforce. Double Vessel on the way as a follow-up. I love this from Mind. He did this like perfectly. And now he has a force that can absolutely destroy the Mutas. The Mutas have controlled this entire game. Now the control goes back towards Mind, but we have Lurkers morphing. He wants to buy a little bit of time and try hold position Lurker here. He's going after, oh God, the Valkyries deal so much damage. 1 Valkyrie goes down, the other does not. He burrows these, so this is a trap. And Mind knows there's a possibility of hold position Lurkers on the map right now. So you have to be careful about that, because that is absolutely a way this game can just go directly towards Cola winning it. Double Lurker here at the natural. We do not have Lurkers down here yet. There is 1 morphing. It looks like he's getting ready to build one on the ramp. That's going to slow down any Marines coming up for an attack. Mind. Now, look at the way Mind is moving. He's moving through areas that don't have as high value and just clearing things, right? Clear an Overlord here, check for a base. He'll probably want to leave a unit here to see if there's any attacks coming out in this general direction, right? These are like important things. And if you go through areas of no value, the odds of hold position Lurkers being there is almost 0, but you're still gaining value by doing things like clearing out a couple of Overlords. So this is a dark and scary place. And suddenly it's like, okay, well, you do have to have this here because Mind could attack through here at any time. You don't have any vision of the area. Now, Mind moving some units up. Looks like he wants to take his own 3rd base here. Getting into 5 barracks play. He's just playing kind of a roaming game right now, right? He's making sure nothing gets up on top of him. He's building out that vessel count a little bit. You know, spreading his Marines and medics, making sure he sees the various paths that he could be attacked upon. And he does see that Lurker. So he gets the double irradiate off. Doesn't really go after the Mutas. Irradiates on Lurkers are never necessarily wrong, but I think when you look at this, right, these Mutas actually still have a lot of function. Okay? Probably not as Guardians at any point. It seems like that moment has definitely passed. But they're going to be great at doing things like clearing up drops. So I love that Kola has completely pulled them back. He says, I'm not going to waste these. And it basically makes his main base completely undroppable. Like this whole area. In fact, if he takes this as his 4th, which he probably will, they'll help out with that as well. So a lot of times I like it when we see a Terran player utilize those first few irradiates to try to reduce that Mutalisk count. It just kind of opens up more options. Whereas you killed 2 Lurkers, but look, there's still 5 Lurkers and they're stacked. So it's like, you didn't like you gained value from the irradiates, yes, but did you gain anything like substantial that can change the way the game is going to be played? No. You are working on getting the Lurker count down a little bit and making him spend more gas on that, but that's it, right? It doesn't actually open any opportunities. Ooh, nice irradiate there. Gets one of the Lurkers underneath the Overlord. See, you're trying to position this, but sometimes you can click just on the edge. If something is barely sticking out. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do, but nicely done there. And he's going to just stim and spread and get in here. That is still 4 Lurkers, and a Darkstorm goes down. So we lose a ton of Marines over here. Really well done by Kola. Like, the timing of that and everything was just fantastic. Now, Mind has controlled the map quite a bit. Kola does not have a 3rd base. Look at this. We have a Marine here. This one's supposed to maybe be here. Oh, no, actually, you know what? He probably means for it to be here in case, like, a Nidus pops a bunch of units out and they run around and try to get up into the natural like that. So he's got basically all paths covered right now. Oh, my God, an Eraser. Oh, my God. That is the sickest Eraser ever. 6 and 8 kills. Look at the drone count. 28 drones. That is so low. He ends up losing a vessel, but 100% worth it. You know, I know that when we see a sick Eraser like that, people ask like, oh my gosh, why don't you see that more often? The thing is, Terrans will do it anytime they feel like they can. But like if you see Scourge sitting around, Hydra sitting around, you know, maybe a Defiler's there for Plague, sometimes it's just not worth it because you know you'll just lose the vessels right away. And, you know, if the drones run right away and like there's a group of Hydras like this standing there, then you can't really chase, right? Because the Hydras will just target your vessels down. So it's definitely a move you want to use, but is not always available. Now, here come the vessels for Mind. He is going to try to break this base. Gets a couple very good irradiates off to start. A few Scourge go to the front, but they're not going to be able to get any kills here. Doing a very good job trying to reduce these gas unit counts. Not utilizing any sort of drops or anything, and rightfully so, right? Like, this is I mean, if you're just going to skip trying to get any sort of drops off, which is a good, solid way to play a macro game anyways, you know, this feels like it's a lot of waste, right? Like, this is a ton of gas just sitting here that's not really useful at the moment. And he just continually adds up the irradiates on these heavy gas units. So right now, by the way, it does look like we see what this is going to be from Cola. It's going to be like a Ling Lurker Hydra Defiler build. So instead of trying to go into Ultras or something, he is going to just focus on utilizing lots of Defilers, having those Hydralisks out. This can be pretty hard to play against. You have to go for Siege Tanks. Oh my god, Mind is getting Restoration. I love to see that. Oh, that is so cool. It really shows what a brainy Terran player he is, that he even utilizes Restoration, which, I mean, everyone uses it a little bit, but that's awesome. Like, it is rare to see still, as I'm sure you guys do recognize. So Restoration on the way so he can get rid of some of those plagues. The vessels get pulled back. He actually breaks through a big chunk of the army here of Kola. Kola having a hard time getting out onto the map anywhere, honestly. And look at this, multiple factories being made. So he's going up to 3 factory siege tanks. He's got a lot of vessels. He's got the 3rd base. He's got the 4th base. He's got a lot of gas. He's got some bio spread out so you can't just attack into these bases quickly. A huge amount of supply here as well. And what a tough game for Kola. Like, Kola's coming out here. He's throwing down a plague, but it's on so few units. These littler groups, these smaller groups, I guess, doing a really good job of just slowing Kola down. Now, he is taking that 4th base. And he does have a somewhat forward position now. I don't see a Defiler here. He really needs to bring those Defilers up to support this army, because without the Defilers, it doesn't do anything. Well, he starts trying to stem up this ramp, but the Lurker Burrow will be able to hold him very, very easily there. A couple of radiates onto these Lurkers as well. Yeah, that one's irradiated. All 3 of these, in fact. And even that back one. So just about everything getting irradiated so far here. Mind trying to break through. A Defiler comes up, and he does plague that army. So this army will be taken out, but look at this. A big counterattack from Mind going around. We also have a secondary attack appearing at that 4th base. And of course, with the Dark Swarm, you don't have any recourse here. This base is going to have to lift off. So suddenly, Kola getting a bit of damage across the map, right? So he forces this 4th base away. Ooh, the bunker actually still finds value, getting rid of the Defiler food. Very, very nice. Radiate on those Scourge actually did fantastically, killing those off, so his vessels are maintained. Now a plague is going to be beautiful there. Good plague. Gets it all over those vessels. Although we have a restoration, we don't see any being cast. Kind of hard to micro that anyways. And now we have some siege tanks coming up. Can Kola pick these off? These are kind of out of position. Look at this. He's picking off with the Hydras some of these vessels. Ling's trying to get on top of the siege tanks. The siege tanks are being pulled back. I think he'll save some of them. And we have another factory that lands with the add-on. So he is going to continue to make a lot of siege tanks. Kola continuing to push back right now. He got like 4 siege tanks there. So that was a very good pickoff. This set of bio is pretty badly hurt. He's going to want to let those all start healing now. But Mind has taken yet another base. Still a push attempting to come in from the side here for Kola. We have a couple of vessels coming down, hitting those irradiates. He just needs to get rid of these Lurkers, basically. Oh my god, that was big. He killed a lot of SCVs there. But not the end of the world for Mind. He is going to end up saving this command center, and Kola still doesn't have a 4th base. He's trying to take this kind of pocketed one, which, I mean, with this type of army, yeah, you can. You can take that, right? You can kind of put some Lurkers up here and roam between this base and this base with your army. That's a very short area. So it is a doable situation to take that at this point. We'll see if it ends up working out for him, because the siege tank count for Mind has gotten pretty high now. Should be feeling relatively good about that siege tank count. He's got a ton of vessels still. If he can find the right positions to set up, he's going to be pretty happy. Sets up a couple tanks here on the high ground. Has this base with a bunker with a few Marines out there as well. The Muta's finally coming back into play. It looks like he wants to maybe check some bases with them. You know, the time for drops has far since passed, right? So he's going to send the Mutas up, and I think they should be able to take this down, but you can see at this point they are so out upgraded It's very painful. A Dark Swarm on this ramp. So these Hydras are actually going to shut this base down, it looks like. We have a counterattack coming up. Cola going to try to hold on. He does have a Defiler here. Irradiate goes down upon it. Okay, he's going to back up and throw that down. Maybe you want to, like, pull these back. That's like, you need a lurker in there. So he starts an egg. The Mutas did end up killing this, but only 3 remain. Some decent damage, but oh, his Hydra's being lured down. So this base does not, in fact, get shut down. Another attack here. It looks like a Defiler got picked off before its spell went down. It seems like the multitasking of Cola might not quite be up to the task of getting the damage he needs. He needed basically, like, this was reasonable, but he needed to keep his Hydras up here. Like, when they got lured down, he should have just right-clicked them over here and, like, hold position or something to try to shut this down. He needed a Dark Storm down here, and if he had done both of those, then it just comes down to stopping this push, and suddenly he's shut down a bunch of, like, basically all the mining of Mind. Instead, Mind is still mining from 2 bases. He's going to clean up the top right, and then that's going to be 3 bases full mining, and, well, this is pretty much gone. But, yeah, it's tough, right? Like, you falter at that one critical moment, and you're probably going to end up losing the game from that. Obviously, Mind was already a bit ahead, but, you know, I think Cola fought very strongly, and he's trying to break out of here, but the writing is on the wall at this point. Cola has nothing really left over. We're about to start running out of gas, as you can see, almost gone, and the third base is pretty low. So that's going to be it. That's going to be GG. Mind does take down Cola. But I think it was quite a good game. And honestly, you could see that moment where Cola did have an opportunity to maybe turn it into a dirtier, scrappier game. But yeah, greatly played by both sides. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.